government has opted for a reasonable and fair compromise on public sector pay rises. It was announced today amidst the beginning of the largest ever round of industrial inaction from NHS junior doctors, with the following uplifts: 7% for police officers, 6% for doctors, plus a £1,250 bonus, 5% for teachers, 5% for troops, plus a £1,000 bonus. And perhaps more importantly, the Prime Minister has promised these increases will not be made up from borrowing or tax hikes, but from savings from various departments. This is a victory for common sense. And with the teachers' unions calling off strikes, the British Medical Association and junior doctors look increasingly isolated. Owing to the pandemic, the UK's debt-to-GDP ratio has now rocketed to about 100%. And for the financial year from 2022 to 2023, we spent a total of £111 billion on interest and debt repayments. That works out to over £2 billion a week, 9% of total government expending. And that, as we have discussed recently, has been made worse because the cost of borrowing has gone shooting up. And fundamentally, it's unsustainable. The state has got too big. We spend too much of your money every year, and we're not getting the productivity that we need to make it work properly. So what we need to do is to get a well-paid civil service that is more productive. And increasing productivity is essential because in spite of new technology, in spite of revolutions in the information age, productivity in the public sector has actually fallen since 1997. And that makes up about 20% of employment and is part of the reason overall productivity in this country has been lagging behind our competitors. And that must be the essential element of this. It's why the government is so right to insist that these pay increases will be funded within departmental budgets, because pay must be linked to productivity, otherwise it risks being inflationary. And when it comes to the NHS, not only do we need more productivity after all the money that's gone in post-COVID, but we also need to use the private sector where possible, as in fact Tony Blair was in favour of. Civil service has also got too big. Under Boris Johnson, there was a programme to cut it back by 91,000, merely to the level it was in 2015-16. And we need to look at pensions, because pensions in the public sector are much higher than they are in the private sector, but people don't necessarily recognise them within the pay that they're getting year to year. It's something that comes so much later. But we also need to look at public expenditure in the round and get rid of wasteful projects. HS2 must be at the top of this list. Its chief resigned earlier today, and there's probably £100 billion of savings. We mustn't be led astray by the sunk cost fallacy. Unfortunately, the legacy of the pandemic is a new expectation that the state is there to do everything. That is wrong. It can't. If we continue down this path, we will do nothing but decline. We will be in the business of managing decline rather than unleashing the animal instincts of this nation and unleashing growth.